So the mood across Europe in the industrial and logistics market is one of improving sentiment overall. I would look at this in two ways, the occupational market and the capital market side of things. In the occupational market, take-up remains very strong. We've had a good start to the year with new leases being signed across the continent. Vacancy remains low, although it is starting to trend upwards in certain markets. But I don't expect that vacancy rate to head close to even the 10-year average of around 7%. We're seeing occupiers from a diverse mix of backgrounds. Online retailers are still active, but not necessarily in the same quantum as they have been over the last 2 to 3 years. Instead, we're seeing demand from logistics companies, 3PLs, but we're also beginning to see demand related to the nearshoring and reshoring phenomenon. In the UK, for example, we had the highest amount of manufacturing related take-up ever in 2022 at 11.5 million square feet. So it's really interesting to see these actual property data points come through now, whereas historically, particularly over the last 3 years, it's all been about surveys saying, yes, this is something we're going to look to do. On the capital market side, after a very volatile second half of 2022, sentiment is definitely improving because of all of the relatively good economic news. Obviously, we're all looking at how that's going to play out over the course of this year and how ultimately that affects pricing. But again, in the capital market side, 2022 was still the second best year ever in terms of investment volumes. One knock-on consequence of the volatility in the capital markets is probably that we're going to see less speculative development in 2023. Arguably that's a good thing because it will keep the vacancy rate constrained much lower than we would ordinarily expect in these conditions. And if we have a constrained vacancy rate, that would continue to put upward pressure on rental growth. So overall, the long-term strategic drivers for the logistics sector remain in place, but I suspect we'll see a more volatile 2023.